Hello and welcome back to the workshop where I'm joined by Richard Proudman and Graham Watkins from Bachmann. Thank you for joining us today. You've got 4 lovely looking locomotives in front of us which you're revealing to us today. Tell us more.
Well, Mark, we've got our British Railway announcements for spring 2024 just around the corner, but before we get there we have some wonderful brand new tooling projects to reveal, something Graham's been working on very hard over the last few years, and it's quite obvious to all what they are, isn't it, Graham?
Yeah, we've got the brush type 2s, or known as the class 30 and class 31.
So why the class 31 in AA?
It's something that's not in our current product portfolio. We do it in the Graham Farish Engage range, so it's a natural progression to bring it into our 00 branch line range.
You've got a veritable feast of locomotives in front of us here, with bristling with detail. Talk us through the elements that you're doing. Which versions are you doing?
So we've got the unrefurbished locomotives, that includes the original class 30s as well as the unrefurbished class 31s, and then all the way through to the refurbished variants that we've still actually got running on the National Rail Network today and in preservation.
And in terms of, we'll go into specifics shortly, but in terms of the general specification, what can we expect from the brand new models?
So we've got our standard DC locomotives. We've then got the sound fitted as well as the sound fitted deluxe, which for the class 30 and 31s actually includes something rather novel and unique so far in our range. Okay,
and we'll reveal more on that very shortly. First though, talk us through some of the general specifications common to each of the models.
Right, so we've got a 5-pole motor driving both bogies through dual flywheels. We have got a dual sugar cube speaker set up in these models, and directional lighting and cab and engine room lighting as well.
The models really build on what we've done with the 37 and the 47, so like Graham said, the specification is very similar in that regard. We've got lots of lighting options, especially for the DCC user, even a tail light feature, Graham, that you were explaining to me.
Yeah, we can have the twin tail lights or the single tail lights, which is pre-refurbishment.
They've got the engine room lights as well, as the 37 and 47 have, directional lights at both ends that can be turned on and off, and we've got cab lights at both ends for DCC use as well, haven't we?
Yep.
Now the engine room lights is an interesting one you should mention actually, because I believe you've also tooled separate elements inside the model as well as outside the model.
We have the engine room detailing on these. We've actually got the Merleys power unit detail as well as the English Electric 12 SVT power units. So on the class 30 you can actually see with the engine room lighting all of that detail inside.
And that'll all be decorated accordingly?
Yes, they certainly will. It's quite an important feature. I mean, they're quite prominent windows on the side of the models. You can see we've got the metal handrails fitted internally inside, and getting that detail right has meant two separate chassis blocks, but it's important to portray the locomotive's full story over the course of their history.
How long have you been working on this project?
The project's been in development for a good few years now. Graham joined the company a couple of years ago and took on the project when he joined us, and has been able to see it through to fruition as we see here today, along with the wider team working on the DCC aspects, then the livery with our artwork team, to deliver the product that we're going to put onto the market in the next few months. And the new feature that Graham's alluded to is something that has took a lot of involvement across the research and development team to make that right and to bring a new innovation to the British market.
And we'll talk more about that in a second. Let's look at specifics to each of the types of model that you're planning. Just run us through some of the highlight details, if you like.
So we've got the unrefurbished locos to begin with. On those we've got various exhaust configurations, boiler ports, steps on the side. We've got the interconnecting doors, the different buffer beam variations as well, the battery boxes with different fittings on. We've even got the bolt head detail on the back of the buffers as well. So we really have gone to town on these models.
What about the refurbished models?
So the refurbished specific ones, we've got the different headlight configurations, we've got the route indicator boxes that are plated over, we've got the fan cowling that was modified on some of the locomotives as well. So again, it's quite an in-depth tooling matrix.
It must be quite difficult to identifying particular models when you're working? Because, as you mentioned, there's the light configurations and things like that. All those sort of things you have to look out for when you develop a model.
Well, I mean, these particular locomotives are now over 60 years old, so there's been through so many variations and changes during that period. Almost every locomotive now is unique, so we have to try and get that correct in the tooling stage. So with our tooling suite, we can do pretty much every model that
you can spot
can.
the difference almost.
It does, yeah.
Prototype.
Just looking at these, you can see so many different.
And which combination do you need of features to accurately portray any given locomotive? And we've got the option for ETH models as well.
We have in both the unrefurbished and refurbished ETH versions.
And you're going to be revealing details of the liveries and the running numbers as part of the British Railway announcement for spring 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the SFX model. We've briefly mentioned the standard DCC ready, the sound fitted, and of course there's the sound fitted deluxe versions. And you alluded to something rather special that's been incorporated in addition, because it also comes with the rotating fans, and you've also done something special with the tinted glazing on these ones as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. The tinted glazing is only on the driver and second man side, not on the centre windscreen, which is quite prototypical. It's going back to the fans. It's actually a multi-speed fan on these. So during the cranking of the engine, the fan turns slowly and then ramps up in speed as the engine starts to fire up. Then it's got an idle speed, then it increases again as the engine speed, as the locomotives are going around and doing a circuit. And then we've also got a prototypical shutdown sequence as well, so the fan then coasts down to a stand.
And does that do that automatically, or is that something you do as a button?
That's all
press?
automatic,
Right.
all automatic under DCC control.
That's in the sound project, which is a Zemo sound decoder. And there's the two different sound projects for this one, Graham?
There is. We've got the Class 31 with the English Electric powering it, and then we've also managed to secure recordings for the Class 30 with the Merleys powering it.
And that's not all, is it? Because the SFX version has also got something else special incorporated.
So yes, this model is the very first to feature our new auto-release coupling system. So it does what it says on the tin. It releases your couplings automatically. It's a DCC function. Press once on your DCC controller, and that will do a movement of the locomotive to squeeze up and take off the tension from the couplings. It will then disengage the coupling from the locomotive and the rolling stock, and then it will move the locomotive slightly so that they don't re-engage as well.
And this will work with all tension lock couplings?
It will indeed, yes, without a modification to any other tension locks.
Fantastic.
Squeeze up. Squeeze up.
So a really exciting development there. Richard, Graham, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find out more about running numbers, liveries, price?
All that information, Mark, will be in our Spring 2024 British Railway announcements. That can be found in a video on our YouTube channel from the 7th of February. And we'll have all those details about the 30s and the 31s. But in addition, we've got lots more exciting news to share with people across the scales for Spring 2024.
Fantastic. And you can also find out more on our website at keymodelworld.com with more running footage of the models in action as well. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video today. Thank you so much for joining us, and bye for now.